Boom! What's going on, everyone? I'm Logan, the 64th Gear Jammer Skeele, founder of Advantage Diecast, welcoming you to the warehouse on another episode of Toy Talk. I've got a great fallen flag here to talk about today, and I've also got a checklist of the DCP by First Gear's Fallen Flag series. Grab a copy of it at the link in the description below. The West Coast has brought us some of the largest and most famous trucking companies. Pacific Intermountain Express comes to mind right off the bat. But many others were running on the Highway 1 in California back in the day. One of them is West Coast Fast Freight Incorporated. West Coast Fast Freight was formed at the end of World War II. From a small beginnings, it rapidly grew through acquisition and dedicated service. Innovation was another area where West Coast Fast Freight excelled, and they used it to stay ahead of their competition. One such experimental truck they had was built by Kenworth and powered by Boeing. In 1950, Kenworth successfully installed a Boeing gas turbine engine in one of their Model 525 trucks. That gas turbine had a power output of 175 horsepower in a teeny tiny 200-pound package. A similarly powered diesel engine weighs about 13 times that. Here is a picture of the experimental turbine-powered truck and a conventional diesel-powered truck. Just look at how small that gas turbine is compared to the diesel. It almost seems like there is no engine at all under the hood. Kenworth, they sent this truck on test runs from Canada all the way down to Mexico. Then they handed it off to West Coast Fast Freight for further testing on runs between Seattle and Los Angeles. While gas turbines were taking over the skies due to their thrust-to-weight ratio over traditional piston engine aircraft motors, sadly, the test proved that gas turbines are not great for trucks. First of all, that trip from Seattle to Los Angeles lasted 5 or 6 hours longer than with a conventional diesel truck. The gas turbine powered truck also suffered from poor acceleration. It also put out way too much exhaust in the form of black smoke. Another problem was that the engine was incredibly hard on its clutches. But the main problem, and this is the biggest problem of all, was that fuel consumption of the gas turbine powered truck equaled about 1 mile per gallon, compared to 4 miles per gallon for a comparable diesel engine at the time. This extremely high fuel consumption overcame any weight savings on any run over 840 miles. However, we never know how an idea might turn out, and thanks to West Coast Fast Freight, we learned that gas turbines belong up in the skies and not down in a tractor trailer. Just as West Coast Fast Freight acquired other trucking companies to expand, their time came to be gobbled up by a larger carrier. In 1954, Pacific Intermountain Express purchased West Coast Fast Freight. P.I.E. operated West Coast as a separate unit until 1956, when the two companies were fully merged together. West Coast Fast Freight ran many more conventional trucks in their fleet, like this Peterbilt 351 and 40-foot vintage dry van trailer that First Gear made in their Fallen Flag series.
And here we go, guys. This is the Peterbilt 351 with 40-foot dry van for West Coast Fast Freight. It's by First Gear. Pulling it up, underneath will show you off its item number. It's 60-0491 and part of their Fallen Flag series. And so you can keep up with the Fallen Flag series, I've got a report you could download at the link in the description below that has every one, a picture and description of all of the Fallen Flag series. So go on and grab a copy of it. Now it comes in the old First Gear 64 scale style box, which is a true window box with window piece. And then it has 2-piece blister to hold the truck that is taped together. Now I like the fact that they tape them together, that way we don't actually drop them. But anyway, I've gone and cut that tape to save a little time. And all we gotta do is lift the lid off, pull the trailer out, and then pull the tractor out. Now let's set the tractor back a little bit and talk about the trailer. This is the First Gear tooling. Kind of leaves a lot to be desired. The height, it's just simply not tall enough. The design is cool, but the walls should have been taller because that's the way they ran. But anyway, it has West Coast Fast Freight Inc. graphics on the side in 2 colors of red. It's got the trailer numbers and its gross weight, plus it's got a unit number of 7204 up in this corner. Up on the front corner and the back corner, top and bottom, it has orange front and red marker lights in the rear. It rides on chrome wheels with soft rubber tires. No working suspension, which I do actually prefer that to the other kind. The walls of this trailer are silver, and so is the roof. The trailer is actually made out of die-cast metal, and the base, though, is plastic. The base on this one is black instead of silver. It has a spare tire carrier with a rubber tire on just a rim. It has a date of manufacture of 35518, tampoed right behind the kingpin. That kingpin's set up to hitch up to any of the First Gear or DCP trucks. Also, you could haul it well with the Neo or the Advantage die-cast trucks. It has a landing gear here with a crank on the outside and little air brake canisters on the bottoms of the axles. Pretty nice. It's also got a really nice vintage tread pattern tire on it. I really like the tire they put on there. Round to the back, it is just all silver. They painted the brake lights red, black solid mud flaps, West Coast Fast Freight on both doors. Roof marker lights there are Tampo red. Hinges, cam locks, all that is just painted body color. Doors do not open, but they are die-cast metal. Passenger side, you can see this trailer is very much the same as on the driver's side, but the arrow points forward on both sides, showing that this company is always going forward. And there's also no crank here on the landing gear. Now, this landing gear has the steel wheel type, but it's all plastic and it doesn't go up and down. Kind of a bummer there. But we're going to leave this truck hooked up anyway, so it doesn't matter. West Coast is written right there in white on the silver in the front. Isn't that nice? Now we'll set the trailer aside. You can see the small problem you come up with that. See, the front end kind of droops when it's parked by itself. But we got plenty of other trailers with landing gear that screws down that we can use, so I wouldn't worry too much about that problem with these trailers, because these will look better hooked up to the trucks anyway. And here is the Peterbilt 351 with a 36-inch single bunk. It is a really sharp tractor. Frame is black. The steps and battery boxes are black. Fuel tank is black. And the fuel tank is set further back on the driver's side. It's got the West Coast Fast Freight logo with its ICC MC number on the door, where it is painted on a white panel on that door. The door handle, the sleeper door handle, the sleeper toolbox, and the ring around the Peterbilt are all tampoed silver. Then the Peterbilt logo is in red with silver lettering. It has chrome headlights, individual plastic turn signals that are painted orange, and they're painted orange, that way it's still kind of clear. Chrome mirrors, black interior with brown seats and brown dashboard. The steering wheel is black. Turning around to the front, it has the chevron pattern, white over black on the front bumper to promote visibility. Yep, even back in the 50s and 60s, they were trying to promote visibility. That's not a new thing. The surround of the grille has been painted West Coast red. Peterbilt logo is there, but the grille itself was left chrome, and the arms for the headlights and the headlight surrounds are still in chrome, with little individual jewel style headlights put in. Pretty nice. It's got the lube finer all painted red on the driver's side, and on the passenger side it's got the air cleaner and the air piping that's all painted in red. The front windshield is hard plastic, and you can see it's got molded on windshield wipers that are tampoed black, as is the center bar, which to make it look like it has a two-piece window, and the gaskets. The visor is also painted red. Over on this side, much the same, but the fuel tank, remember on the driver's, was back under the sleeper. That's been moved forward. No battery box steps, so they mounted steps onto the fuel tank instead. Classic Peterbilt. The chrome wheels with soft rubber tires have red little center caps to match West Coast Fast Freight. Fenders are black on this one to match the frame. Great red and black paint scheme with that little red stripe down the side of the truck and the sleeper. Really cool. Another classic of the era was single stacks. It's got the single exhaust stack here on the passenger side, and to get the heat shield detail, they just put a little decal of black dots around it. Does the job. Round to the back. Again, they probably should have did a little bit better detail on defining the brake lights rather than just making two red dots there, but that's okay. You can see the chrome brackets that hold the mud flaps, and the mud flaps are black. Tipping him up. Not quite sure why there's such a gap between the tires, but that's what they did. They do have free rolling tires, very free rolling tires, so that's not a problem. And then you can see the chrome quarter fenders. Also, you can see how the transmission, the differential, is attached with the drive shaft. Pretty nice. Then that black stripe goes across the back of the sleeper. Underneath, bottom of the engine detail, the exhaust pipe coming out to the stack, transmission, a drive shaft to the Brownie, and then from the Brownie up to the first axle. You can see how it has that. This is probably a 2-speed axles. Then there's a drive shaft to the rear axle, making this a 351, not a 281. And you can see where the fuel tanks are offset. There's the battery box steps for the driver with the fuel tank back, and then the fuel tank with steps for the passenger. Does not have steering. Doesn't. But that means this truck will roll straight. I can kind of go for that. Sits on front spring suspension. Up onto the roof, classic Peterbilt, single chrome air horn right in the middle. Then you've got your roof lights that are molded into the cab, then tampoed silver and orange. You can also see that white, or that red visor there. Now let's go on and hook this guy up, because it is really, really sharp. West Coast Fast Freight had some fancy graphics, some good-looking trucks, and a great paint scheme. And there it is. That's First Gear's Peterbilt 351 needle nose truck and 40-foot dry van for West Coast Fast Freight, Inc.
Innovations, mergers, acquisitions. Just another part of trucking. The die-cast replicas available to us collectors today are of the tried and true models that roam the highways. And I'm glad First Gear is making models of these old fallen flags so we can sort out those mergers and acquisitions. But wouldn't it be cool to get a model of that Boeing-powered Kenworth? This is where die-cast will fail us every single time. The number of variations simply don't exist to make enough models in order to pay for a die-cast tool. That's where resin comes into its own. To learn more about resin models, please grab my report on resin versus diecast, and you can get a free copy down in the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone. I release new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So please take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell next to it in order to get notified of all of my future videos. Then go on and tap the share button so that you can send out this video to all of your social media followers. I'm sure they would appreciate you thinking of them. And finally, go on and tap the like button to send this video out to other great diecast collectors just like you. I'm Logan, the 64th Gear Jammer Skeele, and I got a close-up Advantage Diecast Southside Warehouse doors on yet another episode of Toy Talk.